Imagine you buy a beautiful piece of Iowa farmland in the fall. You've got plans. Maybe you'll farm it yourself next spring. Maybe you'll rent it out at today's rates. And then you'll find out that you can't touch it. Somebody else has the legal right to farm your land for the entire next year, and there is nothing you can do about it. One missed deadline did that. And it's the single most common trap I catch farmland buyers making in Iowa. I'm Jeremy Danilson, a real estate attorney here in Iowa, and my team has supported over 10,000 real estate transactions in the last few years. Farmland is its own animal. The rules that apply to a house in town do not all apply out in the country. And that's exactly where buyers, and honestly, some out-of-area attorneys get tripped up. So here's the plan. I'm gonna walk you through the big trap, the one that can cost you a whole year. And then I'll give you 5 more farmland traps to check before you ever sign. Give me a few minutes, and you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's start with the big one. In Iowa, most farmland comes with a tenant, a farmer who rents the ground and grows the crop. And there's a state law that protects that farmer because they invest a lot of money upfront in seed, fertilizer, and equipment. And the law doesn't want them losing field out from under them on a whim. So here's the rule. If the farm is 40 acres or more, the lease automatically renews for the next crop year, all by itself, unless somebody serves a proper written notice to end it by September 1. And it has to be the right kind of notice, served the right way. A casual phone call or friendly text doesn't count. Miss that September deadline, and the lease rolls over to the following March 1st, a full crop year later. So picture it, you close on the farm in October, fire it up to plant it yourself next spring, but the old lease quietly auto-renewed back on September 1, weeks before you even owned the place. Now the existing tenant has the legal right to farm your ground all next year, often at whatever below market rent was baked into that old lease. You own the land, you're making the mortgage payment, and you are locked out of your own field for a season. That right there is how one deadline costs you a whole year. Here's what to do. Before you buy, find out if there's a tenant. Get an actual copy of the lease, and make sure proper termination notice gets served before September 1st. And the cleanest move of all is to make that the seller's job, written right into your purchase agreement, so it's handled before you ever take ownership. Don't assume it's done. Confirm it on paper. Now that's the big one. But it is not the only thing waiting out there. Let me give you 5 more quick. Trap number 2, the crops in the field might not be yours. People assume if they buy the land, they own whatever's growing on it. Not necessarily. In Iowa, the tenant generally owns the crops they planted, and they have the right to come back and harvest it even after the lease ends. In fact, for a corn crop, the law gives them until December 1st. So that standing corn you're already picturing as your first paycheck, it may legally belong to somebody else. Always nail down in writing who owns the growing crop as a part of your deal. Trap number 3, you might not own what's under the ground or above it. With farmland, the mineral rights can be severed. That's a fancy way of saying a previous owner kept the rights to the oil, gas, or minerals and sold just the surface. So you can buy the farm and later discover someone else owns what's beneath it. And it's not just minerals anymore. Wind, solar, and pipeline companies sign long-term easements on Iowa farm ground constantly. Think of an easement as a permanent permission slip that rides with the land. It stays even after you buy. Imagine closing on a quarter section and then learning there's a decades-long wind easement that dictates where turbines go and limits what you can build. You want to know about every one of those before you close, not after. Quick pause. If this is already sounding like more than you bargained for, that's exactly what my team is for. We handle farmland deals. We dig up the lease, the easements, the drainage, all of it before you sign. There's a link below to talk with us. Okay. 3 more traps. Trap number 4, drainage districts and field tile. A huge amount of Iowa farmland sits inside a drainage district, and a lot of it has an underground tile, pipes that pull water off the field so it's actually farmable. 2 problems hide here. 1, drainage districts can charge assessments, and an unpaid assessment can sit on your land like an unpaid bill you didn't know you inherited. 2, that buried tile often comes with maintenance obligations and easements you simply cannot see standing in the field on a sunny day. A walkthrough won't show you any of this. Only the paperwork will. Trap number 5, fence law. Iowa has a whole set of rules about who maintains the fences between two farms. Generally, each owner is responsible for a share. When you buy, you can inherit a legal duty to build and maintain part of that boundary fence with your neighbor. And trust me, disagreements over exactly this have been feuding Iowa neighbors for more than a century. It's worth knowing what you're signing up for before it becomes your problem. And trap number 6, make sure you can actually get to it. It sounds crazy, but some farm parcels are landlocked. There's no public road touching them, and you reach the field across someone else's ground. If your legal access depends on an easement, you need that access confirmed and in writing. A field you can't legally drive onto is a very expensive problem. So let's bring it home. Iowa farmland is a fantastic investment, but it plays by country rules. The big one, that September 1 lease deadline that can cost you a full year, plus crops that belong to the tenant, mineral and easement rights you can't see, drainage districts and tile, fence duties with the neighbors, and legal access to the ground itself. None of these have to be deal breakers, but every single one is a lot cheaper to catch before you sign than after. If you're buying or selling Iowa farmland, click the link below and let's walk through it together before you commit. And since farmland is full of questions a real estate agent isn't legally allowed to answer, I made a whole video on exactly that. It's right here. Go watch it next.